Could plants grow on Mars under a simple glass dome? Imagine a tiny bubble on the red desert, and inside it, a very nervous little gardener holding a watering can and a single terrified potato. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish this trip, you might discover that the most important greenhouse for Mars is not made of glass at all. First, let us land. You step out of your spaceship in a bulky suit, and Mars greets you with its usual charm. A sky the color of dusty peach, a dry wind that could sandblast your eyebrows off, and a temperature that makes your freezer look like a tropical resort. Outside, the air pressure is so low that your blood would boil before it freezes. Inside your helmet, you are sweating. Outside your helmet, you would immediately regret all your life choices. Now you look at the empty plane and say with heroic optimism, I will just put a dome here and grow some tomatoes. The potato in your hand has a small panic attack. The first problem is air. Mars has an atmosphere, but it is like a very lazy blanket. It is thin and made mostly of carbon dioxide. Plants love carbon dioxide, yes, but not when it comes with almost no pressure and almost no oxygen for helpful microbes in the soil. If you simply put a transparent dome on the ground, the air inside would be the same as outside, just slightly less windy. Your plants would not be impressed. They would look at you with their leaves and say, very politely, that this is plant murder. So you need to pump gas inside the dome. You need pressure, not full Earth level, but enough so that water does not instantly boil away and your lettuce does not turn into lettuce dust. Imagine the dome slowly inflating like a giant bubble. As the pressure rises, your little gardener relaxes. The potato stops screaming internally. Congratulations, you have turned Mars from instant death into only moderate danger. Next issue, temperature. Mars can be colder than 100 degrees below 0 Celsius at night. Your dome, if it is just simple glass or plastic, will trap some sunlight during the day like a car parked in the sun. That is good. However, at night, the heat will run away through the thin air and into space faster than you can say frozen salad. Without heaters, insulation, or some clever trick like storing heat in water tanks or rocks, your plants will experience dramatic temperature swings. Morning? How nice, a little chilly. Night? We regret nothing. Goodbye. So your simple dome now needs insulation, maybe several layers, maybe reflective covers for the night, and some kind of heating system. You have basically invented a small space station disguised as a greenhouse. Meanwhile, your gardener is trying to sleep next to a warm water tank while whispering to the potato, we will not turn you into mashed ice cubes, I promise. When there is the light, Mars is farther from the sun, so sunlight is weaker, like a dimmer switch turned down. On a clear day, it is still bright, but with frequent dust storms, the sky can turn into a rusty soup for days or even weeks. Your dome can let light inside, but it cannot create light out of nothing. During a long dust storm, your plants would feel like they are living in a gloomy basement. You might need artificial lights, powered by solar panels or nuclear energy. So the simple dome now has cables, lamps, and power systems. It starts to look less like a garden and more like a laboratory where someone is trying very hard not to kill a tomato. And we have not even talked about the soil. Martian soil is not really soil in the friendly Earth sense. It's more like crushed rock with seasoning of nasty chemicals called perchlorates. These do not appear in happy gardening commercials. They are bad for humans and not exactly ideal for plants either. You can wash them out, mix in compost, maybe bring some earth soil and microbes, but that means you need water, a lot of water, and time, and a willingness to admit that your simple dome now includes chemical treatment, filtration, and a tiny underground spa for dirt. Our gardener stands in front of the dome, which now has air pumps, heaters, water recycling, lights, filters, and sensors blinking like a Christmas tree. He looks at the original sketch on his tablet. On the sketch, the dome is a cute bubble with a few green leaves inside and a happy smiley face. In reality, the dome looks like a science fiction power plant that accidentally swallowed a garden center. The potato is now in a pot, surrounded by lamps, tubes, and sensors, and is probably the most expensive potato in the solar system. So can plants grow on Mars with a simple greenhouse dome? If by simple you mean a dome that just sits there and looks pretty, then the answer is no. Mars will eat that project for breakfast. If you mean a dome, plus controlled air pressure, careful heating, insulation, treated soil, water recycling, backup power, and a gardener who double-checks every valve before bedtime, then the answer becomes much closer to yes. Plants are amazingly adaptable, as long as some stubborn human builds them a tiny earth bubble first. Here comes the funny twist. The hardest part of Martian gardening is not teaching the plants to live on Mars,
Plants do not care about planets. They care about light, water, nutrients, and temperature. The hardest part is teaching humans to think long-term, to plan, to build systems, and to accept that simple in space usually means very complicated, but we finally understand how it all fits together.
In the end, you imagine your dome at night. Outside, Mars is cold, silent, and red. Inside, soft light glows through leaves. Drops of water sparkle. Tiny roots explore the clean soil. And your once panicked potato proudly grows new green shoots. It is a little piece of Earth humming quietly on another world. And the most surprising part is this. Before humanity can grow forests under glass on Mars, it may need to learn how to treat its own planet as a greenhouse dome, fragile and limited, floating in space. When you think about it, Earth already is the biggest and simplest greenhouse we have. The question is not only whether plants can grow on Mars under a dome. The question is whether humans on Earth can grow a mindset that deserves a second garden in the universe.